Yeah, so when I think about listening to the community, I think this is one of the most challenging concepts for educators and those who seek to educate or partner with communities understand. Why? Because we tend to think, hey, I'm in the schools, right? I volunteer or I teach. I want to be here. I want to serve families in their communities. I don't have a problem connecting and understanding where they are. But the reality is that's not necessarily the case. Simply being there does not make you aware of what's going on with families. And I think for me, one of the greatest reminders of that was what was going on during the COVID crisis in spring. Of course, we're not out of it yet, but the spring, because it hit us in a way that we were not prepared for in education. We went from being in classrooms with students, right, to automatically not having kids in the rooms anymore. We went from being face to face to having to connect through Zoom or Google Meet in ways that were not structured or we were prepared to do, ways that teachers were not used to doing, ways that students were not used to learning. And I remember about 5-6 weeks into it, I'm trying to connect with my kids, I'm putting in grades, and I realized that there were just a handful of students I just was not hearing from. And of course that was alarming, and I would try to reach out via text or phone call and very rarely was able to get a response. However, all of a sudden it seemed like in this week 6 or so, week 7, I heard from 4 different groups of kids. And my question to each of them was, hey, what is going on? Do you need help? What can I do? What's going on? And one student reached out and said, hey, Mr. J, the truth is, I'm just having a hard time keeping up. This is a student who receives additional services and additional support in school. Well, with COVID, that doesn't happen. You don't get additional support online. It doesn't work that way for those who don't know. So he was saying, Mr. J, I'm just struggling. I think I'm going to fail, to be honest with you. And I'm not sure if I even want to really keep working. Another young lady reached out to me and said, Mr. J, I had a family member who just died very unexpectedly, and I was very close to them. I'm going through, and I'm trying to bounce back, but I'm having a really hard time right now. And I got to talk with a young man who I actually taught him and his brother in separate classes, and he reached out to me and was like, man, Mr. J, we've been trying to do our work on our cell phones. We know they were giving out computers for distribution, but we couldn't get up to the school. We couldn't get to the site where they were giving them out. So we've been trying to get our work done on our phone. Our little sister had a computer, but it got broken. So all of us are trying to get our work done on our phone. We're worried about our grandmother who's not doing well. We're trying to do the best we can. And what that served for me was a reminder that my kids were dealing with things that were bigger in the classroom, right? They were letting me know that there are issues that no Zoom, no Google is going to be able to take care of. And it was on me to have to figure out how to meet their needs. They already opened themselves up to me and made themselves vulnerable. I had to explore the way I was teaching, the practices I was doing, reducing the work, right? Extending deadlines, going outside of my normal time to meet with them face to face and connect with them. And I had to be okay with that because I knew they were giving me all they could and I could give them more, and I had to do that. But I wouldn't have known that without listening to the community. So I think one of the biggest things that CCDA practitioners need to understand is when you want to serve schools, you want to serve communities, you can't just look at data. You can't simply just want to be there and say that's enough. You must listen to these stakeholders. Those are our children. Those are their parents. They're the ones who have so much to gain or lose by investing their time and energy into the school community. We owe them at least an ear to listen and invest in them the way that they need us to.